Welcome back to Arsenal News TV, and today we're going to look at the Arsenal player ratings versus Slavia Prague, and we're going to look at how the Gunners got on individually in the Europa League quarter-final second leg victory over Slavia Prague at the Chernobyl Stadium. So we're going to first start off with Bernd Leno in goal, and he spoke well before the game about how important game management was, and we'll be glad to have had so little to do when the game was won in the second half. And I thought that pretty much Bernd Leno had nothing to do apart from making one or two saves at certain moments in the game, but he just had to kick the ball long when he was given the chance and play good passes. So for his performance today, I think it's fair to say he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Callum Chambers, and when Chambers was brought into the side, people assumed it was to provide defensive ability and shore up the back four. It turns out he's pretty good going forward too, and with another assist to his name, the England international is making a strong case to become the regular right back for Arsenal. And I thought it was another decent performance for Callum Chambers. He even put nice balls into the box. I think he got a very nice right foot when it comes to crossing the ball into the box, and I think that's something he's worked upon very well, and you can clearly see it in the game. And for his performance, he deserves an 8. Next up, we got Rob Holding, and one of the most amusing moments of a highly entertaining game was watching Rob Holding burst out laughing as Peter Olejinka tried to start a fight with him in the first half. The Englishman didn't give Jan Kuchta a kick and led well once again throughout. And I thought that Rob Holding is starting to show that he should be starting more games and filling that role that David Luiz left as he was injured, and he's filling in very well and nicely and not giving Mikel any headaches. And for his performance today, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Pablo Mari, and it's easy to forget that this was Pablo Mari's first ever European knockout match, and it was so imperious. It was a Spaniard at the back. He was composed on the ball and concentrated at the back. Gabriel Magalhaes faces a battle to get his starting spot back, and I've been calling it time and time again that he should be starting every game for the Gunners because he's so calm and collected on the ball. And if Gabriel Magalhaes wants to get into the team, then partner him with Pablo Mari and let's see how that works out. And for his performance, he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Granit Xhaka, and he faced more of a threat than against Sheffield United this evening, but stood up to it just as well. He led the team as the most vocal presence on the pitch and kept the ball fantastically as Arsenal saw out the match. And you can clearly see that Mikel has a hidden gem at left back with Granit Xhaka playing there, and for his performance he deserves a 7. Next up we got Thomas Partey, and had far more of a focus on his defensive duties this evening than at the weekend, but he was still impressive nonetheless. The Arsenal midfield looks far better for having the Ghanaian in it, and you can clearly see that Thomas Partey just transforms this midfield, and if you just get a few more decent midfielders to partner with him, I think Arsenal will have a solid midfield for the future, and for his performance he deserves a 7. Next up, we got Dani Ceballos, and he was not the most popular choice before the match to start in central midfield, but he did a good enough job. No tricks or flicks this time, but still a solid display from the Spaniard, and you can clearly see that he has determination, passion and commitment for Mikel Arteta and for Arsenal as a club, and you can clearly see that in his performances, and if the confidence is there, he produces performances where you'll get a 7. Next up, we got Bukayo Saka, a sensational absolute performance from the 19-year-old who steps up in a time when Arsenal needed him to deliver. He was back on the right wing and he was sublime, and a fantastic third goal proved he is capable of finishing big chances when they come after some doubts in recent weeks. And I could clearly see that Bukayo Saka had a slight dip in form in my opinion. I think injuries got to him a little bit and he didn't get the opportunity to play for England, but you can clearly see he's back to his best and you saw it today, and for his performance he deserves a 9. Next up we got Emil Smith-Rowe, and outstanding from the returning Highlander in his preferred central position. He was unlucky not to have opened the scoring after having his early tap-in ruled out for offside, but he assisted Nicolas Pepe's goal moments later to ensure that didn't matter. Emil Smith-Rowe's runs into the box were crucial in pushing Arsenal up the pitch and helped pin back Slavia Prague throughout the devastating 10-minute spell that won the game in the first half. You can clearly see more and more that how much this guy means to this team, and we shouldn't take it lightly. When we brought in Erdegaard, he was shifted to the left, and you can clearly see that give that position to Smith Rowe, build around the future around him. He has filled the Mesut Ozil void in my opinion, and for his performance today, it's fair to say he deserves an 8. Next up, we got Nicolas Pepe. Perhaps a controversial choice on the left wing over Gabriel Martinelli, but the Ivorian more than justified Mikel Arteta's faith. The calmness to finish the first goal was exquisite, and from there on, Slavia Prague simply couldn't take the ball from him. And you can clearly see that on the left hand side, with the stronger foot on the left foot being his foot, you can clearly see he can cause problems as you don't know if he's going to cut with his right foot, if he's going to do some skills with his left foot. And I thought he had a brilliant game today, and he deserves all the praise he deserves, and he deserves an 8 for his performance. Next up, we got Alexandre Lacazette, and he stared down the united Slavia squad as he took the knee before kickoff, and he looked fired up throughout. A calmly dispatched penalty and a well-composed second half finish made up for the missed chances in the first leg, and you can clearly see that was running through the back of his mind as he wanted to show the Arsenal fans that how much he cared about this team, how much that he wants to win for this team, and he got those 2 important goals in my opinion, a very calm penalty, and for his performance today, he deserves an 8. And now we're going to move on to the substitutes, and the first person that came on was Mohamed Elneny. He did the job of protecting the Arsenal defence when the game was won in the second half, well after it coming on, and it's fair to say he deserves a standard 6 for his performance. Next up, we got Eddie Nketiah, and he was chosen to come on over following Balogun, despite rumours the 19-year-old is set to sign a contract extension soon shows he is still ahead in the pecking order for now, and that's very good for Mikel Arteta to do that, because I think it still gives the confidence to Eddie Nketiah. He's still a young boy, and for his performance he deserves a standard 6. Next up, we got Cedric Soares, and he may well have been disappointed not to have started the game at left back, but he can have few complaints after Granit Xhaka's impressive display, and I think Cedric Soares has the opportunity to play at right back as well, but for his performance he deserves a 6. Next up, we got Gabriel Martinelli, and it was something of a shock that he didn't start the match, but with the way the Gunners front line who started played, it's safe to say Mikel Arteta got this one right. A nice run that nearly led to a goal proves still what he has to offer though, and for his performance, I think he was very good when it comes on. He done his duty. You know, he is someone that's very direct in his play. He's very something about his play is just so intimidating, something that scares defenses and they don't know what he's going to do next. You can see the passion and drive, and I think his chances will come, but for his performance he deserves a 7. And then finally we got following Balogun, but he came on too late to influence the game. So in terms of that, he doesn't deserve a rating from me. But overall, it's a decent display by Mikel Arteta. Someone that says that Arsenal will be there, hopefully winning the Europa League and qualifying for the Champions League. But other than that, guys, remain blessed. Stay tuned for next video, and peace.